welcome to KristenKellyTV. Today I'm going to be doing a story time for you about a roommate situation that I had. If something you'd like to watch, please continue. Okay, so today has been an extremely long day. It's about 11 o'clock at night and I'm so tired and I was in bed and then I was like watching my Snapchats and I forgot that I said I was gonna post a video for you guys. So I'm washing my face off right now. I love these makeup wipes from Sephora. They're the coconut water ones. Ooh, they're so good. So yeah. Okay, so I asked on Snapchat, MissKristenKelly, if there was something you wanted to see for a video. And a bunch of people were like, story time. And then somebody said, do you have any roommate stories? Guys, first of all, I went to boarding school. If you don't know what boarding school is, it's when you leave your parents' house and you go and you live at school. It's kind of like college, except you're younger and there's way more rules, but you live in a dorm and it's kind of the same thing. So I have literally had roommates since I was 13 years old. So honestly, I feel like I should make a list of like all the roommates I've had because I've had so many roommates in my whole life. So I could go on and on, like there's stories for each roommate. However, I decided that I'm going to do this particular story. If there's other stories you guys want to hear, like there's so many like roommates I had. I'm like, do you want to know about the one that tried to kill me? Do you want to know about the one that tried to sleep with me? Do you want to know about the one that kept eating everything and like stealing everything? Do you want to know about the one who, like, I introduced her to all my friends and then she tried to take over my identity? Like, there's so many roommates, like so many crazy stories I have. But I'm gonna tell you this one about this girl from college. So that is how we're gonna start it. Okay, I think my face is all good. So tired. Oh, I feel crazy right now. Okay. All right. So when I was in high school, we were gonna call this girl Carrie. So, not high school, sorry, when I was in college. So when I met this girl, I was 18 and she was 18. And she was from West Virginia and I was from Boston. And we lived together in Los Angeles. There was actually 4 roommates, 2 roommates in each room. She was in the other room and I was in the other room. And then we became like best friends. And then we ended up moving out and going and living in our own apartment. We went to we had our class schedules around so we could like drive to school together. We did everything together. We even like dated people at the same time. Like she would date somebody and then I would date his roommate or something like that. Or she would date somebody and I would date his brother. You know, like that happened multiple times. And we literally did everything together. We ate every meal together. We were best friends, college, you know, like you don't know anybody. You're in a strange place, you know, you don't have family. So like we were each other's family. So best friends, like really was ride or die for this girl. So about 2 years into our friendship, I would say that she had kind of like some weird behavior. Like sometimes she'd get drunk and she'd say like mean things to me. Like she would say about how like she was the pretty friend, or which like was not really true, but she'd say about how she was the pretty friend or how she was the skinnier one, or she was like, oh yeah, so-and-so was asking what we were doing and he was like, oh yeah, are you gonna bring your roommate, the one who's not as pretty as you? Like she would just say like kind of weird things, like, and almost like I knew she was trying to bring me down kind of. It was weird, but that did not happen very often. She was a pretty good friend. It was really only when she was like really drunk, and I mean, you know, we all do like kind of crappy stuff sometimes, so it wasn't that big of a deal. So there was a situation. We went to this party, and at the party I was dating this guy, and this guy had a roommate, and she was dating the roommate. She also had a boyfriend back in West Virginia that they had been together since high school, and they were like on again, off again. A lot of times like she would tell me that they weren't dating, but they were dating, because I think she didn't want me to like slut shame her or judge her, which I really didn't. Like I didn't really care. It's her body, her life. So we're at this party and I'm dating this guy. So I'm with my boyfriend, we're outside talking. And my boyfriend was older. He was about 26 and his roommate was about probably 26 as well. And we were, I guess we were probably like 20, 21 at this point. So, yeah. And we've been together, like we've been roommates for like 2 years. So we're at this party this other friend comes in and she's like, hey, Carrie is naked in the next room making out with a girl, and there's a guy videotaping it. So I run in there, I grab the camera, I start this huge fight. I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, she told me to record them. I'm like, great, erase this right now. And the guy like refused to erase the video. So I'm screaming at the guy, I'm telling him to erase it. I just said her real name. I'm sorry. Let me retract because I said her real name. So Carrie is laying there naked, and I'm like, Carrie, put your shirt back on. Like, put your shirt back on. Like, what are you doing right now? So she's like, oh, like, you're being so crazy. Like, I'm just, like, having a good time. And I'm like, no, you are going to wake up tomorrow and want to kill yourself. Put your shirt back on. So she gets her shirt back on, and then she's, like, telling everybody at the party, she's like, oh, yeah, like, my roommate is, like, so dramatic. And then she, like, gets me in the bathroom, and she's like, please make sure that nobody has any pictures of me naked. Like, please, I'm so embarrassed. So I'm like, yeah, okay, just like, please keep your clothes on. So I went around this party, and literally, like, I made myself the bad guy. I was like, fine, taking one for the team. So I went around, like, every single person that I saw taking pictures, or could have been taking pictures, or could have been taking videos, I went around to, and I made sure, like, literally made sure. Like, I was screaming at people, I threw a drink at somebody, like, I was over the top, like, having people, like, I was like, please show me the photos, like, your last few photos. I just want to make sure that nobody has a picture of, like, my best friend with her shirt off. You know, like, I went over and above. So everybody at this party kind of hated me, and we had to leave because I'm, like, going around, like, being, like, psychotic. So we leave, we get in the car. Carrie is in the front seat, sitting on top of my boyfriend's roommate, who she's like dating, kind of seeing. Like, she slept with him at this point multiple times. So I'm in the back seat with my boyfriend, and there's a driver. She is she literally was trying to whip his dick out. Like, she was like trying to take off his pants. He was like, no, stop it. Like, he was trying to get her to stop. She kept like grabbing his like dick, and he was like screaming at her. He was like trying to like push her away from him, but we were in a car, he's in the front seat, and he's screaming at her. And I'm trying to like control her. At one point I was like grabbing her arms from behind because she was like going crazy, like pretty much trying to like sexually assault him. So I'm grabbing her arms. I'm like trying to calm her down. We get back to their house. They had a big house. She's fine. We're in the kitchen. I see her taking like the bottle of Jack Daniels to the head. Like, I saw her probably drink, I would say 25% of a brand new bottle of Jack Daniels, which is a lot of whiskey. So I kept taking the bottle from her and hiding it, and she kept like finding other alcohol, so she was grabbing like anything she could to drink. The guy that she was seeing, he was also really worried about her. So he's trying to get her to drink water. He's telling her like, oh, you know, this is tequila, when it was like water, so that she would drink it. And she's like, no, this isn't tequila. So she's going crazy. I'm really at this point like kind of over the night, because I went around this party like an absolute psychopath, like going up to people, getting like, you know, their cameras, getting their phones out, like making sure that they had no, you know, images of her, while at the same time she's going around kind of acting like I'm the crazy one for doing it, and like that she doesn't care, people have her photos. Then the cab ride, she was crazy, and then we get back to the house and she's being crazy, and I was just like really over the night, to be honest. So at one point, I'm like stone cold sober at this point, because I hadn't drank probably like 6 hours. I'm sitting on the couch with my boyfriend at the time, and I see her again, like trying, literally she gets on her knees and was trying to like pull his dick out and suck his dick in front of us. And I was like screaming at her. The guy is screaming at her. He's pushing her away. He's trying to get away from her. He kept trying to go outside to smoke. I don't even think he smoked. I think he was just like trying to get away from her. Like, she was like over the top, like messy and crazy, like not able to stand, not able to talk, like really nuts. So, I'm like, let's go to bed. So my boyfriend and I go to sleep. She goes to sleep with this guy that she slept with many times, and, you know, I had seen her try to like rape throughout the night. Then the next day we drive home, everything's fine. The following day we go to class, everything's fine. The following day she talks with this boyfriend, or this guy she has in like West Virginia, or I think it was West Virginia, I don't even know. All of a sudden, she says that she was date raped, that she was drugged, and that she was raped. And that guy, my boyfriend's roommate, had taken pictures of her when she was naked and unconscious. So at first I was kind of like, okay, well, are you sure this is not because you talked to so-and-so in West Virginia and like now you're feeling guilty about it? Are you sure that this happened? And she was like, I was definitely drugged because I was so hungover and I felt so sick and I threw up and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, well, you were drinking a lot. Like I personally witnessed you drink half a bottle of, or 25% of a bottle of Jack. You were drinking everything in sight. I mean, you were really, really drunk. I don't know if somebody drugged you. Maybe you were just super drunk. And she was like, no, I was definitely drugged. So I was like, okay, fine. You say you were drugged, like then you were drugged. Let's go to the hospital, you know, whatnot. So we go to the hospital. They do some tests on her. I know that she wasn't date raped because I was there when they were talking to her about what the test said. And then all of a sudden we go back to the house, our house, and then she talks to her mom and all of a sudden she's been raped. Like, I've been raped. He took photos of me. I was drugged. I knew she wasn't drugged, so I went with her to the hospital. She's telling her mom she was drugged. She's like telling this guy that's in like West Virginia or whatever that she was drugged and raped in photos. So at this point, I kind of had to be like, look, I of course always believe the victim, but in the circumstance where I literally witnessed her trying to rip out his dick, I literally witnessed her trying to sexually assault him. I witnessed her being the drunkest I'd ever seen her and acting crazy. Also, the whole thing about the photos, I think, was the fact that when we were at the party, people were taking pictures of her, and I got all of those images and stuff. So I don't think that this guy was taking photos of her. I think it was because of the photos from earlier, she had somehow got that twisted in her drunkenness. However, of course, you believe the victim. So then another day goes by and she tells me that she went and got a rape kit done, which I don't think she actually did, because we had class from like 8 to 4, and then at like 5:30 she comes home and says that she went and had this rape kit done, which did not, I mean, I think it would take more than an hour and a half. I don't even think it would be possible to leave school, do that. Maybe she didn't go to school, I don't know, but she had even said that she did go to school, so I don't know. But she said that she'd done this rape test, and this honestly was so long after the alleged incident. I mean, we're talking days, like days and days after. And she says it was definitely him who raped me, about my boyfriend at the time's roommate. So I was like, I mean, I'm not a genius, but you would need a sample from him to match up that story. And how would you get a sample from him? And then on top of that, I mean, this isn't a movie. How would it be done that quickly? These kind of things take like weeks and months, and I think sometimes years. So I was like, okay, like trying to be supportive, but at the same time, completely knowing she's lying, and it being horrible because this guy is a good guy and she's, you know, dragging his name through the mud. But at this point, I still was like, you know, it's not like anything serious is happening. She's alleging these things happened. I don't think they happened. I mean, from what I witnessed, I wasn't in the room when they were sleeping. I don't know exactly what happened when they were in that room. You know, maybe he could have gone crazy. Maybe he could have changed. But as like a character witness, I'm telling you, this is like a good guy. You know, maybe he could have raped her and taken photos of her, but it was it did not, I don't think that happened. And then also her saying that she got this rape test and that it said that it was him. I was like, how would that's not even like a possible thing. Unless they had like his sample on file. And, you know, it was just like, and how would, you can't do that in like an hour and a half. It's just really crazy. All of a sudden, her mom calls me, and her mom is like, we're going to the police and we're going to file charges against him for raping her. So we need you to testify on her behalf that you saw him rape her. And I said, I can't do that because I didn't see him rape her. When I left, she was drunk. She was crazy. At the time, I could have said more to her mom, but she was my really good friend. She was probably my best friend at the time. And I did not want to say anything bad about her to her mom. Like, I didn't want to say, well, she was drunk and she was at a party with her boobs out, making out with a girl, and people were taking videos and pictures. And I didn't want to say when we were in the cab, she was trying to pull his dick out, and she literally got on her knees in front of me and my boyfriend and tried to suck his dick. And she was crazy. She was like fiending for alcohol, and she was acting nuts. Like, she was acting real out of pocket. Like, there was just, like, I'd never seen her act like that. Also, like, I couldn't. There's no, I'm not, there's no way in hell that I would say that I saw her get raped. So her mom, but I didn't say all those things. I just said I didn't see her get raped, so I can't testify to the fact that she was raped. I can't, like, fill out a police report that she was raped. I didn't see anything. And her mom starts crying, and her mom's like, she was raped, and you are doing nothing. And I was like, I don't know what you want me to do. And she's like, you should go to the police and tell them this. Pretty much like telling me that I need to like say, like make up stuff, like say that I saw her getting raped when I didn't see it. And I was like, I'm sorry, I can't do that. And her mom was like really, really pressuring me. And then her dad got on the phone, and then her grandma got on the phone, and then her sister and her aunt came to our place in California to try to convince me to say that she was raped when she was never raped. No one raped her. I mean, and I'm sorry, I should not say that. Victim blaming. I do not know if she was raped. I have no idea. I just personally know I did not witness her being raped. They call my mom. This literally happened so long ago. To this day, my mom talks about it, and my mom says, oh, that poor girl was raped, and you are a bad friend because you wouldn't go to the police. I don't know if she was raped. I never saw her get raped. There was a lot of like, you know, I could say hearsay. I could say, you know, like what she told me, but I like the fact that my mom, they even like got to my mom and like tried to convince my mom. It was crazy. Like, I'm not going to ruin someone's life over something that I don't know anything about. Like, if I saw her get raped, of course. If you know, if the next morning when I would knock on the door to like be like, hey, let's go, if she looked disheveled or if she looked like something had happened, you know, of course I would have done something. There was just like a lot of holes in the story, and I really felt like she just felt guilty because she was cheating on this guy that, you know, she'd been with since high school, and that she thought it was just easier, I guess, to say that. That's how I felt. I always think you should believe the victim, but I think you should also use your brain. And with me personally being there and firsthand witnessing what had happened, I just really felt like there was no way. And, you know, just from past experiences being around them, you know, she was definitely always like the more aggressive one sexually. And she'd personally even told me that about, you know, their sex life. And even my, the guy I was dating, my boyfriend at the time, he looked through this guy's camera. I didn't even, like, I told him, I was like, don't even tell him. I was like, please just, like, go through his camera. And he did. He went through his camera, he went through his phone, and there was no pictures of her. No pictures. And the fact that she was saying that he raped her and then took pictures of her, I was like, you know, I don't know. I'm not a detective. I don't know. So I said I couldn't testify. And she moved out. She was like, you're a bad friend. I can't believe that you wouldn't say the truth. I'm like, I am telling you what I witnessed. Yeah, like, moved out. And then about 4 years later, she wrote me a MySpace, I believe, email, letter, just saying how she was like sorry that we like fell out of touch. It was like such a weird email. It was like, oh, I'm so sorry we fell out of touch. We were such good friends. I don't hold any grudges. And to me, I was kind of like, well, we were good friends. We did fall out of touch. You don't really even have anything to have a grudge against me. Like, you kind of threw away our friendship over something that, you know, it was, I guess, to her, you know, I don't know if maybe she really felt like she was raped. I don't know how I, being a witness, would have been like, you know, would have like been, if she had, you know, if she had his DNA like she had claimed. I don't know what me saying, you know, this or that would have even done. You know, like, if you have his DNA, then you have his DNA, you have your evidence. I don't know why you would even need me. But yeah, she's like, I don't hold grudges. And I don't even know if I responded to her. Because it was just like, honestly, I got so much backlash from that. Like, my mom, literally, to this day, my mom will still bring it up. My mom will be like, and every roommate I had after that, my mom will be like, well, make sure what happened to Carrie doesn't happen to that roommate. Like, acting like I'm like, you know, oh my God, just crazy stuff. I had a bunch of friends that I lost, a ton of friends that I lost. She moved out of the apartment and didn't pay rent for like the rest of the year. So I didn't want to ruin my credit. So I had to pay double rent for the rest of that year, which was an expensive apartment in LA. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it sucks, but that is my story about my roommate who I was friends with, and then it all went south. I hope you guys like that story. I'll talk to you later. Bye.